Welcome back to the Real Estate Rat Pack Radio Show with Chris, Joe, and Rob. The crew is taking your calls, so dial in at 1-800-808-5548.
Welcome back to the Real Estate Rat Pack Show. You know, we got to figure out how to bottle and record our breaks sometimes because we have such a good time, a lot of communication going on. And Joe finally woke up at the very end of last segment.
Y'all were jibber-jabbing over there so much, I didn't want to jump in.
You know, we do want to hear from you, by the way, so you can call us. We are live in the studio. If you have a question about real estate, about the Heights, about anything, 800-808-5548. We definitely want to hear from you. You know, we just finished up with Mary Wassev with Circa Real Estate, and we're going to give out all the numbers at the very end of the show here. But up next, actually, we have Wayne Cohen with Bernstein Realty. And let me tell you, Wayne and I go way back. We have a mutual friend that got lost a long time ago, and we've stayed in touch. And nowadays, we do a lot of real estate together. And Wayne, how you doing, buddy?
Well, thanks for having me on the show, Chris.
Hey, it's absolutely a pleasure. Let us
I
know
thought
a
it was
little...
next week, though.
Oh, you thought it was next week, right? I know. It was the whole thing. I had to drag you out of bed this morning, bring you in here. You know, and you brought your beautiful wife, by the way. I appreciate that.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah.
In case we get some Russian people calling in, we've got a natural interpreter.
That is correct. That is correct. We have a natural interpreter.
By your accent, I could tell you're from Katy.
Correct.
Yeah.
The south side of Katy.
South side of Katy.
Yeah.
South side of Katy over there.
Yeah.
Well, Wayne, you know, let us know. Start off by letting us know who you are and who you're with.
I'm with Bernstein Realty. I've been with them for about 4.5 years.
You great real estate company over there, obviously, you know, with Amy and all of her staff over there. Great company, great individuals. You know, and you actually live in the Heights. You live in what they call the Shady Acres, the Greater Heights area, as I was talking about during the break. And, you know, one of the things for all of our listeners, and I would like to sort of define this, is what is sort of defined as the Heights?
Oh, basically the way I define it is an area boundary, and I look at 610, and I go south of 610, and I look at TC Jester, and I go east of TC Jester, and I go to 45 and go east of 45 and north of I-10.
Okay.
I look at that as the Heights area.
As the Heights area,
give or take a few streets.
Okay,
yeah.
Perfect. You know, because you hear about people talking about it all the time, the Heights, the Heights, the Heights. And I was talking to Mary about this during the break is, you know, one of my confusions has always been is where truly is the Heights? And it was sort of defined, as you mentioned, you got the Heights and you got sort of the Greater Heights area, you know, including some of the areas that you live in. You know, and one of the things we're going to talk about today also is what are some of the things to actually do, places to go, things to do. You know, you're a runner, so maybe some good running trails to run out there. You know, some of those things. You know, why did you choose the Heights to live in to begin with?
For us, it was an easy decision. We wanted to be close to the park. We talk Memorial Park. So for us, being within 3-4 miles of the park is close. Rice Military is too congested, so we wanted to be in an area that was unique entirely, which is the Heights.
Right.
It's 4.5 miles from where we live to the park, running distance. There is trails from TC Jester all the way down. They've now built a trail that almost goes from downtown all the way through to TC Jester. It cuts between White Oak Bayou and continues all the way to TC Jester.
Oh, wow, okay.
So it stretches all that way.
And, you know, and one of the things, I see you every day, you know, you run every day, and it seems like you eat like a parakeet every day, you know, which is what keeps you so thin. And to all those, if you want to get into shape, just call Wayne. Aside from being a great realtor, he will actually run you and probably run, because he gets on to me about it all the time. We're in the elevator coming up here. I'm like, I need to start exercising. Chris, I've known you for years. You keep saying that every time. When are you going to come running with me one day?
Well, when you take an elevator up one level, when you can walk the stairs, I mean, give me a break.
That is true. That is absolutely
true. He's exercising his patience.
Yes.
It is.
Hey, pressing that button takes some effort, by the way.
That's right.
It does.
Yes.
You get the opportunity to wait and just calm your nerves and...
That is correct.
You're building your patience muscles.
Well, you know, what all do you have going on in the Heights?
Well,
I mean, what are some of those activities that
the Heights, and I think Mary may have touched on it, but there is, if you live in the Heights, you do not have to go out of the Heights to eat. The restaurants in the Heights are probably the best in the city, give or take a few. And they're improving. I mean, every single week we're finding a new restaurant that opens in the Heights that has a great chef or certainly has a vibe unto its own. It's just completely unique. The people in the Heights, I think, have a different attitude towards their neighbors and the way they carry themselves. It's unique to itself. There is the influx of all the new urban professionals that are coming in there, the young guys that are taking these old homes and they're building them and remodeling them. and spending a lot of money. And the prices, as Mary and you guys touched on earlier, have just gone, sky high.
How is you touched on a point there, something that I know in the past, and we had talked a little bit on break about, was how is the new folks coming in, the desire for modernization from some versus what I know is a draw and has been for many years for a lot of folks, the unique kind of historic feel of that area. Is that tension still there in some of the new folks coming in and wanting to create a modern or more modern look? Is that an issue? Do you see that as a realtor?
I think that what I see happening is some of the older homes that are there at the moment keep the infrastructure the same, but the remodeling aspect of it takes place inside. So overall, what we're finding is that even though the home has been remodeled, the exterior of the home still has that old architectural look of the Heights, and has maintained it, has maybe been improved to the point where it looks a lot fresher, but it still has that architectural feel to it that's unchanged.
What about, one of the things you guys touched on that I know has, grieved a lot of realtors, the change in how the properties are assessed now and valued, that we get somebody from a random part of the city and you get something as unique as the Heights, and it's a city unto itself. And it has its own, you've got a house that's 90 years old. That was the topic that came up. And a house that's 90 years old in Humble would be probably looked at quite differently than a house that's 90 years old in the Heights. Is there still investment opportunities? I know at one point people were flocking to the Heights as an investment opportunity, finding these older houses, renovating them, that type of thing. Has the demand or shortage of inventory in Houston really knocked those out? Is that still happening? And if so, are there any issues with outside appraisals?
I think from my experience, what I'm finding is that the available older homes that are available tend to go to the builders. For some reason, I think they're soliciting the homeowners of these older homes prior to them even going on the market. And they picking up, if you look at the Heights in general, there's a lot of new construction, and new construction, I'm talking 2, 3-story, 4-story sometimes townhomes on small lots. They're putting up 2 to 3 townhomes where one single family was previously. And they're getting these homes, and these homes, they're demolishing them and putting up 2 or 3 new townhomes in place. But then you have the older homes where you're finding where originally you could buy them, and in the old days you could actually remodel them, sell them at a profit. Right now people are buying them for their own use and really spending a lot of money, from redoing electrical to redoing foundation to redoing plumbing, and the interior completely is demolished to make the open floor plan concept much more prevalent now in these older homes. But the exterior, as I said earlier, is staying the same.
Wayne, you had a nice segue in talking about new construction. I know there's a lot of new construction going on in the Heights, and typically when a builder comes in and buys a little old bungalow, what are they typically paying for that?
Well, what I found, I don't know exactly what they're paying for it, but I think that what's happening is the prices are very much what they were before, but they're spending a whole lot more on remodeling. So where homes were selling for maybe $250,000, $300,000, they're now selling for $550,000 for a 1,700 square foot home, and they're not easily getting appraised. I've had personal circumstances recently where there were multiple bids on a home like Chris was talking about earlier. And one of the appraisers came in at way below what the contract price was, and the actual person opted out of the contract, and we had a backup offer, and we actually got the backup. And then it was reappraised at $60,000 more than what the original appraised price was.
If I were a buyer and I was calling you from New York City and I knew nothing about Texas, I knew nothing about the Heights, and I'm going to say, Wayne, I'm thinking about moving in, and I've heard a lot about the Heights and stuff, and I want to buy a nice house. I might want to do a little painting, things like that. I don't want to do a lot of major remodeling. What do you think the entry level is to get into the Heights now? It's
very difficult. There are not. I think, as we were talking about earlier, there is maybe a month's worth of inventory there, and the homes that you can buy for $250,000 are very few and far between. And I just haven't seen many of them available right now, to be really honest with you, in the Greater Heights area. most of the homes that I've seen have already been remodeled, and if they haven't, they're certainly not entry-level prices. So I
So
think
if you're going to throw a number out there, what would that number? Would it be 300,000 as an entry level for a nice place to live?
I think yeah, and that would be very basic with nothing done on the inside at all, and original plumbing, original electric.
Wow.
And so it's
pretty amazing. You know,
exactly.
I talked to some builders and things like that. You know, last year I think they were paying about $30 a foot maximum for their lots. And the lots are typically, what, Mary, 5,000 square feet?
It depends on the part of the neighborhood you're in, anywhere from 5,000 to 6,600 typically.
Yeah. And so they're paying somewhere around $200, $225 for a lot. And now I'm hearing that they're paying up to $40. And someone even said last night, I was talking with them, they said they have a 20,000 square foot lot, and he said, I want $1 million for it. And so that would be $50 a foot. So do you see that happening?
Yeah. Well, what I've seen, I just did some research before I came in, but there is
no scripts. No.
But I mean, it's okay to do some research.
He's being an expert. He's being an expert.
There were 450 sales just in the month of April. 265 approximately pending contracts as we talk right now. I mean, give or take a few. And there's over 200 active properties in the Heights right now. And this is all talking about a month's worth of inventory. So there is a huge amount. If you had 440 sales in 1 month, that sort of answers your question.
Take a vacation then. You'll be out of business.
That's just extraordinary what's happening. But the draw to the Heights is obviously the incredible amount of uniqueness to the whole Heights area in terms of restaurants.
Now, you like a lot of the charm of the Heights. What about things like the festivals and things like that? What there's stuff that goes on all the time. Talk about that a little bit.
Well, one of the things that we found out recently, there's something called Food Truck Friday on 19th Street, which is quite a unique happening.
We know they're taking our parking spaces in front of the cigar place.
Yeah. In fact, we were there on this particular Friday, and we were walking into, we thought we were walking into Boomtown Coffee, which I think is right next door. And
yes.
As we opened the door, we were rudely hit by the smoke from the cigars, and I didn't realize that you're allowed to smoke in a coffee shop when my wife mentioned to me that in fact we had walked into a cigar place, which was quite a rude awakening.
Actually, Chris had said, hey, there's Wayne, let's all blow our smoke at him.
Well, the other interesting thing about the Heights, which is quite unique, is that there's more artists in per square mile in the actual greater Houston Heights area than there are per square mile in any other city in the United States, which is quite an interesting statistic.
I think that would be Austin. I'm really surprised.
That's quite an interesting
Well, as usual, the time has shot by, and we're up against a hard break at the bottom of the hour here, so everybody listening out there, give us a call on the show, 800-808-5548. We'll be right back.